What if the moment that changed everything for your soulmate was not a long conversation, a dramatic confession, or a sudden revelation? What if it was something so ordinary, so unexpected, that they almost ignored it completely? That is exactly what happened. They were not searching for answers. They were not trying to understand the past or reopen old memories. In fact, they believed they had already accepted the story exactly as they understood it. But life has a remarkable way of revealing truth when people least expect it. One simple moment, one unexpected detail, and suddenly, something inside them shifted. It was not loud, and it was not obvious. Yet it carried a feeling they could not explain. For the first time in a long while, they began questioning whether they had truly seen everything clearly. Because your heart needs this right now. Your soulmate is starting to realize that honesty often leaves quiet signs behind. It does not always defend itself, argue for attention, or demand to be believed. Sometimes it simply remains the same through time, waiting patiently until someone is ready to see it for what it always was. As they reflected on this unexpected experience, old memories began returning with surprising clarity. Conversations they once dismissed now feel different. Certain moments suddenly hold a meaning they never noticed before. They are beginning to remember how consistent you were, how certain things never changed, and how your words carried a sincerity they may not have fully understood at the time. The more they think about it, the harder it becomes to ignore the feeling growing inside them. What if the truth had been there all along? What if the answers they searched for were never hidden, but simply overlooked? And listen to this, because this realization is only the beginning. Your soulmate is now looking back at the past through completely different eyes, and with every memory that returns, they are uncovering something unexpected, the possibility that you had always been honest, and that destiny waited for the perfect moment to help them finally understand it. And listen to this, because what stayed with your soulmate was not the unexpected moment itself, it was the feeling that followed it. Long after everything returned to normal, they found themselves thinking about it again and again, unable to explain why such a small experience had left such a lasting impression. It was almost as if something deep inside them had quietly awakened, encouraging them to revisit memories they had not examined in years. At first, they resisted the feeling. They told themselves they were simply overthinking or allowing old emotions to resurface without reason. But no matter how many times they tried to move on, their heart kept returning to the same question. What if they had misunderstood you from the very beginning? That single thought began changing the way they remembered everything. Instead of focusing on isolated events, they started noticing the consistency in your actions. They remembered how your words rarely changed, even when circumstances became difficult. They remembered the quiet patience you carried, the way you never seemed to contradict yourself, and how your sincerity remained steady even when it was not fully appreciated. Those memories, once overlooked, now seem impossible for them to ignore. Because your heart needs this right now. Your soulmate has begun realizing that honesty is not always recognized in the moment. Sometimes people expect truth to arrive with dramatic proof or undeniable evidence, when in reality, genuine honesty often reveals itself through quiet consistency over time. Looking back, they can now see that while situations changed, emotions shifted, and misunderstandings came and went, one thing remained remarkably stable: you never stopped being true to what you expressed. At the time, they were too distracted by uncertainty to recognize that pattern. They allowed circumstances to influence the way they interpreted your intentions. They believed that confusion meant inconsistency, when now they understand that confusion often comes from incomplete understanding rather than dishonesty. This realization has humbled them, because it forces them to acknowledge that they may have judged certain moments before seeing the entire picture. And listen to this. The more they reflect, the more they remember little details that once seemed completely insignificant. They remember the calm way you handled difficult situations. They remember moments when you could have defended yourself more strongly, but instead chose patience. They remember times when your actions quietly matched your words, even if no one else seemed to notice. Those memories now carry an entirely different meaning. Instead of appearing ordinary, they feel like small pieces of evidence that were always present, but never fully appreciated. It is as though life preserved those moments until the exact time your soulmate would be emotionally ready to understand them. They now realize that truth rarely disappears. It simply waits until someone becomes willing to see it without fear, assumptions, or unnecessary doubts standing in the way, because your heart needs this right now. Your soulmate is also discovering that their greatest mistake may not have been doubting you. It may have been doubting their own intuition. There were moments when something inside them quietly suggested that your words were genuine, but they ignored those feelings because outside circumstances seemed louder. They convinced themselves that logic required them to question what their heart was quietly trying to protect. Now they understand that intuition often notices sincerity long before the mind is prepared to accept it. That understanding has brought both relief and emotion, because it explains why they never felt completely at peace with the conclusions they once reached. Deep inside, something always remained unsettled, and listen to this. Every new realization is gently removing another layer of misunderstanding that had surrounded this connection for far too long. Your soulmate no longer feels the need to force answers or defend old beliefs that no longer make sense. Instead, they are allowing the truth to unfold naturally, one memory at a time. The accidental moment that first caught their attention has become the beginning of something much greater. It has opened a door they never expected to walk through, and on the other side waits a completely different understanding of everything they once believed. With every passing day, they are becoming less interested in holding on to old assumptions and more willing to embrace a truth that has quietly remained unchanged all along. And as these pieces continue coming together, one extraordinary realization grows stronger within their heart. Perhaps your honesty was never hidden at all. It was simply waiting for the when they were finally ready to recognize its quiet, unwavering presence. And listen to this, because something remarkable has begun happening inside your soulmate that they never saw coming. They are no longer remembering the past the way they used to. Instead of recalling isolated moments filled with uncertainty, they are beginning to see an unmistakable pattern running through every important memory. One realization naturally leads to another, and before they know it, pieces that once seemed unrelated begin fitting together with extraordinary clarity. It feels less like discovering something new and more like finally understanding something that had quietly been present all along. They have stopped asking themselves whether your words could be trusted, because every memory they revisit seems to point toward the very same conclusion. The consistency they once overlooked has become impossible to ignore, and with each passing day, their confidence in what they now understand continues to grow stronger. Because your heart needs this right now, your soulmate has started paying attention to something they never valued before: the difference between temporary emotions and lasting character. They now realize that emotions can change from one moment to the next. Fear comes and goes, doubt rises and falls. Confusion appears whenever circumstances become difficult, but character remains remarkably steady. As they reflect on your connection, they recognize that while situations around you both continued changing, your sincerity never truly did. They remember how your actions repeatedly reflected the same values, even when doing so was not easy. There were moments when you had every reason to become defensive or walk away from misunderstandings, yet you remained true to yourself. Looking back now, they understand that honesty is not proven by one dramatic moment. It quietly reveals itself through countless small moments that remain consistent over time. That realization has completely transformed the way they see everything that happened between you. And listen carefully, because there is one memory they cannot stop returning to. It is not important because of what was said. It is important because of what they failed to notice while it was happening. At the time, they were focused on trying to understand the situation, but now they find themselves paying attention to your reaction instead. They remember the calmness in your voice, the patience you showed when you could have easily become frustrated, and the quiet confidence with which you stood by your truth without demanding that anyone believe you immediately. That memory now carries an entirely different meaning. They have begun asking themselves why someone who was not being truthful would remain so consistent without trying to manipulate the outcome. The more they sit with that question, the more obvious the answer becomes. Genuine honesty does not need to force itself into someone's life. It simply remains unchanged until time reveals its value, because your heart needs this right now. Your soulmate is also beginning to recognize that some of their strongest assumptions were built upon moments they never fully understood. They filled in missing pieces with conclusions that felt reasonable at the time, never realizing that those conclusions were shaped more by uncertainty than by facts. Now, with a calmer heart and a clearer perspective, they are removing those assumptions one by one. What they find underneath surprises them. Instead of discovering contradictions, they keep discovering consistency. Instead of finding reasons to doubt you, they keep finding reminders of your authenticity. Every honest reflection strengthens the same realization, making it increasingly difficult for them to hold on to the old version of the story they believed for so long. And listen to this. The accidental moment that first caught their attention has now become the key that unlocks every unanswered question they carried inside. It was not extraordinary because of what happened in that moment. It was extraordinary because of what it allowed them to finally see. They understand now that truth has a quiet endurance. It does not disappear simply because someone misunderstands it, and it does not lose its value because it goes unnoticed for a season. Instead, it patiently waits until enough time, growth, and reflection allow it to be recognized for what it has always been. Your soulmate is finally reaching that place of recognition. The doubts that once felt so convincing are beginning to dissolve, replaced by a deep sense of respect for the honesty they now see reflected across every chapter of your shared story. And with every memory that settles into its rightful place, they find themselves asking a completely different question. Not whether you were telling the truth, but how they could have overlooked something so genuine for so long. And listen to this, because your soulmate has reached a place where they are no longer trying to convince themselves that what they discovered was merely a coincidence. In the beginning, they searched for another explanation. They wondered if they were simply looking at the past through emotions instead of facts. They questioned whether they were giving too much importance to one unexpected moment. But the more they reflected, the more they realized that this was not about imagination at all. It was about finally seeing what had been consistently present from the very beginning. The accidental discovery did not create your honesty. It revealed it. That distinction has become incredibly important to them because it changes the entire foundation of how they understand your connection. They now realize that truth does not suddenly become true the moment someone notices it. It was already there, quietly standing its ground through every misunderstanding, every unanswered question, and every season of doubt. The only thing that changed was their ability to recognize it, because your heart needs this right now. Your soulmate has started noticing how different honesty feels compared to assumptions. Assumptions constantly demanded explanations. They created endless questions and encouraged overthinking. Every answer seemed to lead to another uncertainty. But the truth they are now uncovering feels completely different. It brings a sense of calm that cannot easily be explained. Instead of creating more confusion, it quietly settles their heart. They no longer feel the need to analyze every conversation or replay every situation, searching for hidden meanings. The pieces are naturally finding their proper place without being forced together. That peace has surprised them because they always imagined clarity would arrive with excitement or dramatic emotion. Instead, it has arrived with stillness. It feels like finally putting down a burden they did not even realize they had been carrying for so long. And listen carefully, because one of the biggest changes taking place within your soulmate is the way they now see your actions rather than simply your words. They have come to understand that words can sometimes be misunderstood, especially when emotions are involved. but actions quietly reveal the heart over time. As they revisit old memories, they notice how often your actions remained aligned with what you expressed. They remember moments when you stayed patient instead of reacting. They remember how you remained respectful even when circumstances became uncomfortable. They remember times when your consistency never depended on whether anyone acknowledged it. Looking back now, they realize those quiet choices revealed more about your character than any explanation ever could. They are beginning to appreciate that genuine honesty is rarely loud. It does not need constant recognition because it expresses itself naturally through the way a person lives, responds, and remains true to themselves regardless of changing circumstances. Because your heart needs this right now. Your soulmate is also discovering something deeply personal about themselves. They realize that the reason they struggled to fully believe your honesty had very little to do with you. Much of it came from fears they were already carrying long before your paths crossed. Past disappointments, broken trust, and old emotional wounds quietly influenced how they interpreted situations without them even realizing it. They now understand that they sometimes expected history to repeat itself, causing them to question things that never truly deserved their doubt. This realization has not filled them with guilt. Instead, it has filled them with compassion. They are learning that healing often begins the moment someone stops defending old fears and starts allowing new understanding to take their place. Every day, they release another layer of those old expectations. They find themselves seeing your sincerity with greater clarity than ever before. And listen to this. There is another beautiful realization growing within them, one they never expected to experience. They have stopped viewing your honesty as something that needed to be proven. Instead, they see it as something that quietly proved itself through time. They understand now that real sincerity does not chase validation or demand immediate belief. It remains steady regardless of whether it is recognized right away. That realization has changed the emotional weight they once carried. The need for certainty has been replaced by trust. The need to question every detail has been replaced by quiet acceptance. They no longer feel trapped between competing versions of the past because one consistent truth has gently risen above them all. It is becoming increasingly clear that your authenticity remained unchanged even while circumstances around it continued shifting. Because your heart needs this right now. Your soulmate's heart is no longer resisting what their intuition has been trying to tell them all along. They are finally allowing themselves to accept that some people spend their lives searching for undeniable proof, while others eventually realize that the strongest proof has been quietly present in consistent kindness, unwavering patience, and actions that never stopped reflecting the same truth. As they embrace this understanding, the emotional walls they once built begin disappearing one by one. In their place grows something far stronger than certainty alone. Deep respect for the honesty they now recognize in you, and an equally deep trust in their own ability to recognize what is genuine. For the first time in a very long while, they are no longer looking at this connection through the lens of doubt or misunderstanding. They are seeing it through the quiet clarity that only truth can create. And that clarity is changing not only how they remember the past, but also how they are beginning to imagine everything that still lies ahead. And listen to this, because your soulmate now understands that the greatest truths are rarely revealed in the moments people expect them to be. They often appear quietly after emotions have settled, after assumptions have faded, and after enough time has passed for the heart to see what the mind once overlooked. That unexpected moment they accidentally witnessed was never just another event in their life. It became the turning point that changed the meaning of everything that came before it. Looking back now, they realized they were never missing evidence. They were missing perspective. Once that perspective changed, every memory began finding its proper place. The questions that once kept them awake at night no longer carry the same weight, because they finally understand that honesty leaves behind a trail that cannot be erased by misunderstanding. It remains present in consistent actions, quiet integrity, and the steady way someone continues to live according to the same truth. Even when no one else fully recognizes it, because your heart needs this right now. Your soulmate has stopped measuring this connection by the doubts they once carried. Instead, they are measuring it by the peace they now feel whenever they remember you. That change has surprised them more than anything else. They expected looking back would fill them with regret or frustration, but instead it has brought an unexpected sense of gratitude. They are grateful that truth remained patient. They are grateful that your sincerity never changed simply because it was not immediately understood. Most of all, they are grateful that life gave them another opportunity to see everything with clearer eyes. They have come to appreciate that genuine honesty never depends on perfect timing or perfect circumstances. It remains steady through confusion, distance, and unanswered questions, because it is rooted in something much deeper than temporary emotions. That realization has become one of the most valuable lessons they have ever received. And listen to this. There is another reason this discovery feels so important to your soulmate. It has restored something inside them that they believed had been lost. They are learning to trust their own intuition again. For a long time, they ignored the quiet feeling that occasionally suggested there was more to your story than they understood. Whenever that feeling appeared, they silenced it with logic, assumptions, or the opinions of others. Now they see that their intuition was never trying to create confusion. It was gently encouraging them to remain open until the complete picture revealed itself. That understanding has changed far more than the way they see your honesty. It has changed the way they see themselves. They no longer feel disconnected from their inner voice. Instead, they have begun rebuilding a relationship with the quiet wisdom that has always lived within them, patiently waiting to be trusted once again, because your heart needs this right now. Your soulmate also realizes that this journey has never been about proving who was right or who was wrong. It has been about discovering the value of truth itself. They understand now that truth does not become stronger because someone finally believes it. It was already strong enough to survive every misunderstanding without changing its nature. That realization has removed the emotional burden they carried for so long. They no longer feel the need to revisit every mistake or relive every difficult memory searching for different outcomes. Instead, they honor those experiences because each one slowly guided them toward the awareness they now possess. Every challenge became part of the path that ultimately led them back to a deeper understanding of your character and of their own heart. And listen to this. As your soulmate steps into this new chapter, they know they cannot return to the perspective they once had because too much has changed within them. The accidental moment that first captured their attention has grown into something far greater than a simple realization. It has become the foundation of a completely different understanding of your connection. They now see that honesty never needed dramatic proof to survive. It simply needed time to reveal its quiet strength. The misunderstandings have begun fading. The doubts no longer hold the same power, and the truth that remained so consistent through every season has finally found its place within their heart. Whatever unfolds from this point forward, one thing has already become undeniable to them. Your honesty was never something that appeared overnight or needed to be created by circumstance. It had always been there, patiently waiting beneath every misunderstanding until destiny arranged one unexpected moment that allowed your soulmate to finally see what had been true from the very beginning.